What's the crack, everyone? It's Ollie from B2B Sports here. What an absolute shit show. The Minnesota Vikings lost 10-12 against the Chicago Bears at home at US Bank Stadium on Monday Night Football in what was probably the most ugliest performance of the Kevin O'Connell era and one of the worst performances that I've witnessed over the past 10 or 11 years as a Minnesota Vikings fan. The game was silly o'clock over here in the UK. It was 1 a.m. I think the game started Tuesday early morning. So I caught up with the game on Game Pass, avoided the scores on socials, and watched with hope and expectation that we could go into the bye with a win and come back healthy with Justin Jefferson. But yeah, it made this Tuesday a very frustrating one, to say the least. Start with the elephant in the room. The offense just could not get anything going with Josh Dobbs and the offense with 4 turnovers in the game. Just horrendous. You can't be doing that against a divisional rival at home. It killed all atmosphere in the stadium. US Bank Stadium is prides itself on being one of the most loud and intimidating stadiums in the league. And it was flat. It was flat from the get-go. When the Bears were up by 6, the crowd sort of sensed that just nothing was going our way, and it was flat. Most of the first downs that we had in the first half were given to us by the Bears defence. A couple of big penalty decisions going the Vikings' way. But those penalties were our saviour, in the first half. The running game again looked weak. Mattison with a couple of big runs throughout the game, but on the whole, again, he just bounced off that defensive line. Allison had a few drops on the day. Whether you can say that there were wayward passes or, not perfectly thrown balls. But, he needs to be stronger. He looked a little bit flat in comparison to what he has shown in the early parts of the season. And then we get to Josh Dobbs. Whether it be play calling not suiting his play style. He's dangerous out of the pocket and he can use his legs as a mobile QB. But, he hasn't got the greatest arm accuracy. And it really shows the levels between him and Kirk in that aspect. Whether it was him being too eager to get the ball out, placing the ball on the inside or the outside of receiver, depending where he's on the field. It just wasn't there. I hate to bring it back to what me and Sam discussed, but the Josh Dobbs story did look too good to be true. I am still rooting for him. I am still hoping that he can pull through, but he just did not look comfortable out there at all in the slightest. And unfortunately, you can see why he's bounced around the league a little bit. The play calling by Kevin O'Connell again has come into question. Too conservative, not playing to Josh Dobbs' strengths. The classic run pass when our run game has been statistically one of the worst in the league, instantly putting the pressure on Josh Dobbs straight away. I think we need to talk about that crucial point in the game where Josh Metellus makes an incredible tackle. We'll get into the defense later because they were outstanding, but Josh Metellus makes a great tackle on Justin Fields, pops the ball out, pounced on by Anthony Barr. Good to see him back in purple, by the way. And we had great field position. We had about 3 minutes left on the clock, maybe 2.5. And we didn't even need a touchdown at that point. Just get 3 points. The Bears didn't look like scoring a touchdown all game. You trust our defense to make a play, and the Vikings would walk away with a win. But we couldn't even get the first down from that point. It was infuriating. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. The play calling was conservative. It was negative. It went backwards. All we needed was that first down. All we needed, and then you can put into question the punt. It was 61 yards distance. Greg Joseph has made that field goal before. I think it was around December time last year he made a 61-yarder. But why not go for it? Kevin O'Connell last year, he was this gung-ho coach. He went for it on 4th down, and we weren't used to it coming from the Zimmer era. Mike Zimmer was a defensive-minded coach, and he was historically more conservative on the offense side of the ball. With KOC coming in, an offensive-minded head coach, we thought we'd be a bit more like Dan Campbell. Well, maybe not too aggressive as Dan Campbell, but a little bit more aggressive than what we've seen in recent weeks anyway. We decided to go for the punt. Ryan Wright hasn't been great this year. Poor punt, goes straight out of bounds. Gives the Bears okay field possession on the 25 when he should have really been pinned them back within the 10. And to be fair to Justin Fields, he shows flashes of brilliance. He uses his legs, and they made that one chunk play, and that was that. put them in field goal range, and they secured the win. Incredibly frustrating, ugly game to touch on the Bears. They didn't look like scoring a touchdown all game. The Minnesota Vikings defense had them wrapped up, apart from that last chunk play at the end of the game. But that is not on the defense. The Minnesota Vikings have one of the best offenses in the league. Without Justin Jefferson, they've proved that they can score points. But yet the past 2 weeks, we've scored a maximum of 30 points. It's a joke, absolute joke. It's really wound me up, to be honest. The Vikings now head into the bye. Justin Jefferson has now been activated off IR. He'll be back for the Raiders game in Vegas, and that's a must-win. That is a must-win game. We're 6-6. The Packers are now 1 game behind us on 5-6. We're just about sitting that 7th seed spot, but now the other teams are starting to catch up. All that good momentum that we had on that 5-win game streak is now gone. And now we need to build our own luck. We need to get it going again. We need to get the guys off the deck and build that confidence back up. And hopefully Justin Jefferson coming back can provide that. What is KOC going to do going forward with the QB position? Is he going to let Josh Dobbs have another game? Is he going to let Jaren Hall have another shot? He looked good on that opening drive before he had that concussion. Or they've got Nick Mullens that's come back from IR now as well. It just seems like such a fall from grace for Josh Dobbs. I hate to put like such a negative spin on it, but in such a crucial position at the season, Vikings can't afford to have a slump like this. They can't. And I never thought I'd be saying that after Dobbs' first 2 games in purple. You know, he was outstanding. The pasture, everyone was talking about him, but now he's taking a dip. And does he have the minerals to claw it back? You know, from what we've seen over the past 2 weeks, it's not looking good for him. And I hate to say that because I'm more of an optimist than a pessimist. But we have to be real. We can't afford another one of those games. We've got a big stretch coming up. Play the Packers and the Lions twice. It's imperative that the Vikings make the playoffs. After the position that we found ourselves in coming back from 0-3, we need to make the playoffs. We need to do it for Kirk Cousins as well. But Vikings fans, let us know your thoughts on the game. Where do we go from here? Is Josh Dobbs the guy, or would you give Jaren Hall or potentially Nick Mullens a shot? And hopefully Justin Jefferson can kick this offense into gear. It really is never easy with the Minnesota Vikings. But cheers for watching and listening, everyone. Peace out and SKOL Bikes.